Wait. Real nitty gritty. Boots on the ground. The real nitty gritty. Boots on the ground. The real nitty gritty. Boots on the ground. The real nitty gritty. Boots on the ground. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. Thank y'all for joining us. I've got a special guest today, Francis Rich from RGP Documentation Services, an accredited partner of the Philippine Retirement Authority. And he's going to answer our questions and talk about our SRRV process. But before we get started, I always like to go over a few things. First of all, the peso is 55.66 to each dollar, which is great. Anytime it's over 50, that's a great rate. Also, I want to welcome the NTZ crew. Thank y'all so much for what you do for the channel. Francis, they keep the trolls off of the live stream, so you don't have to worry about getting trolled or harassed, okay?
Thanks, Calvin.
All the new viewers and subscribers, thank y'all so much. We're approaching 40,000 subscribers, and that's unbelievable. I never saw that coming. Also, I wanted to welcome all the new visitors to the Philippines. I've been getting a lot of emails and messages, people arriving here in the Philippines in the last week. I may have to have a meet and greet, which I'll probably put together one day next week, either here or in Cebu. That's the least I can do. And one more thing before we get started, I want to say get well soon to Virgia Lee. And she's my representative in JRC Consultancy in Dumaguete. I actually have to go get my extension on Monday, and she's in the hospital recovering from injuries suffered in a car crash. It's always, see, I know so many people in car crashes, it doesn't make any sense. But thank you, Francis, for joining us today. And if you would, go ahead and introduce yourself and just kind of give us a little information about what you do.
Thank you very much, Calvin, for that very nice introduction. And good morning to all our viewers and to all the supporters of Calvin. So my name is Francis Rich Ko, and I'm from RGP Documentation Services. So the RGP Documentation Services is an accredited partner of the Philippine Retirement Authority. We offer assistance for the completion of documentary requirements, filing of the application in the PRA office, and the issuance of the SRR visa. Okay, so just a brief background about myself. I have worked in the Philippine Retirement Authority for already 3 years, and going as before as a foreign language support desk specialist. And now I am working as a partner of the Philippine Retirement Authority under the RGP Documentation Services. And my day-to-day transactions while working with PRA made me understand that the needs of having someone you can trust and rely on in getting a visa in a foreign country. There are a lot of information in our website and a lot of information that you can see online, but it's really different if you get you get the information or you get assistance from an expert, especially from someone who's really working inside. So I really understand the frustration of foreigners, other people who came from a different country, flying from all over the world, coming to the Philippines to get the SRRV, and they are really surprised, getting not knowing that they should have done this and they should have done that, And with that, I must say that the SRRV applications will never be complicated if you have the right information and proper guidance. So being in a foreign country, not exactly sure what the process is, and it is really important that you have to, you have someone who can guide you step by step through the process. And our commitment to our clients is to make sure that the SRRV application is accepted and processed by the Philippine Retirement Authority without any delays, and as much as possible, guarantee, our clients to get the SRRV.
Well,
So,
thank you.
mhm.
Uh, Excuse me, I didn't mean to butt in, but I wanted to thank Robert White. He's one of your clients. He's a friend of mine, and he's the one that hooked this interview up. I know that you helped him recently. I wanted to ask, what other type of visas do you help with
Mm.
besides the SRV?
So aside from the SRRV, there are a lot of visas that, a foreigner can apply in the Philippines. So we have the most common, the first one that I would like to uh, promote, which we are talking about, is the SRRV. So the SRRV is a Special Resident Retirees Visa. So this is a visa well known to foreigners who would like to spend their retirement years here in the Philippines. And aside from that, there are a lot of other visas that you can get here in the Philippines. So the most common, of course, is the tourist visa that you get from the embassy. But for Americans, you can come here to the Philippines without applying for a visa, and they'll give you 30 days stay, and you can extend that in the Bureau of Immigration once you're already here. So we also have a student visa for those who wish to study here, and for working visa for those who wants to work here in the Philippines. We have the 13A visa, the married to a Filipino visa. So if you are married to a Filipino, you can apply for that visa. It's also a non-immigrant long stay visa here in the Philippines, and a lot more special visas. So you really have to check which your purpose when you're coming here, and like one of the easiest, as I can say, is, and one of the easiest to get for me is the SRV, and I think it should be one of the most common that a lot of foreigners who wish to really stay here, really want to live here, want to spend their vacation, their retirement. The best option to get is the SRRV.
Okay, let me stop you right there and ask you, uh, how many different types of SRRVs are available, and let us know who qualifies for each one.
Hmm. Sure. So right now we have the SRRV Classic, the SRRV Courtesy, and the SRRV Expanded Courtesy. So we have three um, options for the SRV. So these are different schemes of the SRRV that are created to fit, each foreigner's needs. So the SRRV Classic is the common option or the common scheme for foreigners. So you have to be at least 50 years old and above to be able to apply for the SRV. And the SRV, so this is the SRV Classic is you will be putting in a 20,000 US dollar SRV deposit in order to get the visa. And the main feature of this option is that when you're done applying for the SRRV and you have a condominium unit, or you already bought a condominium unit here in the Philippines, and you wanted to apply for a lease of a house and lot, you have the option to substitute that, to turn that deposit into an active investment. So the term that we use is substitute. So in substitution, uh, you can submit your papers from your condominium unit, uh, or your documentary papers with in relation to your lease of a house and lot, and you can substitute that. You can submit those to us, and we can give the 20,000 US dollars back to you. So
Okay,
that's
so yeah,
the
that's
that's
a
the feature of the
question.
SRV Classic. Mhm.
Yeah, that's a question I had. So we have to be approved first. So you have to put the 20,000 in first.
Yes.
Okay. Then once
Mhm.
you're approved, now does that mean I have to own the condominium outright, or can I still be paying for it to substitute it?
You have one of the requirements that we need is you should have already the certificate of the condominium title. So
Okay.
you need to own the condominium already,
Okay. Good.
because you need to submit the title to us. So that's in substitution of the 20,000 US dollars. And just in case you would like to, um, you changed your mind, you bought another condominium unit, and then you wanted to sell the old one that you've substituted. We can do that in exchange. Or say, for
Okay.
example, that you are already living in you have your house here, so you don't need the condominium, you want to sell it out, you just put back the 20,000 US dollars, and we'll give you back the we'll lift the annotation from your certificate of title, and you can get it back.
Okay. Let me ask you.
Hmm.
Can I? Okay. You approved me for my SRV, and then 2 years down the line, I changed my mind. I said, it's okay. I'll just stay here on my tourist visa, my long-term stay visa. Can I cancel that and get my money back?
Yes, definitely. So your money, the 20,000 US dollars, is a deposit. So it's actually a time deposit. So the money stays locked in to the bank, and you cannot use it while you're here, while you have the visa. So you're just the money is just locked there, and it's accumulating interest over time. And anytime you wish to cancel, anytime you change your mind that you do not want to do the SRRV anymore, you can request for the cancellation of your SRRV, and then we downgrade your SRRV to tourist visa. You'll be getting your money back, all with the interests.
Okay. Look, he's got a question. Mo Weem says, "Is there a minimum?" Okay, now for the classic, since I have to pay the 20,000, I don't need a. Do I need a pension?
For the classic scheme, we have two options. There are two categories under the classic scheme. So the first one is the classic scheme without pension, and the other one is the classic scheme with pension. So the first one, if you do not have pension, the pension, I would like to put emphasis that when we say pension, it should be like lifetime pension.
Right.
Okay. Yes, it cannot be like a retirement fund. It cannot be like a pension. A payment like a benefit pay coming from your company that you're getting until a certain age. It should be lifetime. So the classic scheme, if you do not have any pension, you put in 20,000 US dollars. If you have pension, such as your social security and other source of pension, lifetime pension, which we will be evaluating if that is acceptable as part of for you to be under the SRV Classic with pension. The
Right.
deposit would only be 10,000 US dollars, but the pension for single foreigners should be at least 800 US dollars per month.
Okay. Good.
And if you are a couple or and with children, the pension should be at least 1,000 US dollars per month.
Okay. Now, this is a basic question. These deposits, what are they for? Why do we, is it for to make sure if we get sick here that we're not not a ward of the state? What does
Mhm.
that guarantee the deposits? What are they there for?
So the SRRV deposit is like it's like a bond, you
Okay.
know. Yeah,
What's it
it's like
used for? In case of what?
so in order for you, the Philippine government, it's this is a program of the Philippine government, to attract foreign nationals to retire here in the Philippines. And when you come here in the Philippines, in order for you, it's really hard when you have the tourist visa, because every month you have to, go to the immigration to have the extension, and there's a limit to that, right? So you can only stay here for a maximum of 2 years. However, if you have the SRRV, you get the, privilege of staying long term. So you just renew your card every year.
Yeah. Let me
And
stop you right there. We
mhm,
understand that. What I'm saying is, what is the 20,000 bond? What is it there for? I mean, is it in case I get sick and I go into the hospital and I don't try to leave the Philippines without paying, or what is it there for? What's the reason for the deposit? That's my
the thank you for that, Calvin. The deposit is actually a bond to your visa. So as long as you have the SRRV, the money stays in the bank. So you cannot
right. I
touch
mean,
it.
what's it used for in the event? It's a bond, but is it, what's the use of the bond? I mean, what are we putting it there for? What is it guaranteeing?
It guarantees you the stay here in the Philippines. So it's like an in exchange to getting these SRRV, you have to put in that amount of money. So
Okay.
the specific the only purpose that you the specific purpose of that of that deposit is for the SRRV.
Okay. Now that's the two forms of classic.
Mhm.
Now you
Also,
said you have to be 60 years old to get that classic, or how old do you
no,
have
no,
to
no,
be?
no, no,
Hmm?
no. 50 years old and above
Oh,
can apply for the
50.
SRRV.
Okay,
Yeah.
50. Sorry. Sorry.
Also,
All right.
I'd
What
like
about
to. I sorry, Calvin, to interrupt you. I'd like to point out that, for example, a while ago you were talking about the bond, the deposit. The deposit, the $20,000 deposit, just in case there's an emergency and you need to get the bond, we can request to have the bond released for approval in case of emergencies. But
Okay.
aside from that, the only the deposit is solely for the purpose of getting the SRV.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now what is it? What's the SRV for retired military, or what is it called? Honorably discharged military. What's that
Yes.
called? What's that
We
called?
call that the SRRV expanded courtesy. So the SRRV expanded courtesy is for foreign nationals 50 years old and above who are retired armed force officers of foreign countries with existing military ties or agreement with the Philippine government. So a monthly pension of at least 1,000 US dollars and an SRRV deposit of only 1,500 US dollars. So the deposit, instead of 20,000 US dollars, it's only 1,500 US dollars, but you should have at least a pension of 1,000 US dollars. And the
Okay.
SRV deposit includes the principal applicant already and the two dependents. So if you have your wife or your spouse and and your children, it includes three of you already for the 1,500.
Okay. Yeah, Coast Guard is considered military.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Coast Guard is
Absolutely. Yeah.
also considered military. Air Force is also considered military.
Okay, now let me ask you. Now I see this. I keep this word apostilled keeps coming up. Can you do that for me, or will I have to have that done in America or
Mhm.
in my home country?
Yeah. So I'd like to, put clarification to the apostle, because that's a recent, this is a recent, this is a recent convention, by the states, by the countries, I think few years back, I think 3 to 4 years back. So before, one of the requirements that we require are your police clearance. So the police clearance should be issued from your home country, and the police clearance coming from your home country is issued, by your government. So we need certification from your government that that the document that you're providing the Philippine government is a valid document, is not, it's a legit document. So in order for us to validate, uh, you need to have it apostilled. So the apostille usually is it's like a certification, by, usually it's given by the secretary of your state. So for example, you are living in Florida, it's the secretary of Florida who will be doing the apostille on your documents. So any documents that you will be submitting uh, here in the Philippines that is um, uh, executed abroad, executed in your home country, you need to have it apostilled. You need to have it like
Okay,
certified, so that
right
when
in
you
my
come
home
here,
country.
yes,
Right.
in your home country. So when you come here and you submit the documents, and we see the apostille stamp of the certified of the certified authority of your home country who does the apostille, we can say that these documents are valid and original, and it's legit documents.
Okay. Now he has a great question. I don't know. Sacho Eugene says, if you died while on an SRRV, who gets the deposit?
Yeah, so that's a very good question, Sacha. um if you have dependents, uh you can your dependents can claim for the 20,000, 20,000 US dollars. So your children will be able to get also the 20,000 US dollars.
Okay, let me ask this question. He says he's 100% permanent and totally retired from the Navy for life with Social Security. He said, but because I'm only 35 and not 50, I don't qualify.
Thank you very much for that question, Jonathan. Unfortunately, with the current scheme that we have, your age qualification does not meet the requirements needed for the SRRV.
So
But
that's what's the lowest age that they'll accept? 50?
yes, 50. We only accept 50 years old and above for now. But
Okay.
please stay tuned, because the program might change in the future, and we'll see if we can accept 35 years olds.
Yeah. Thanks for the super chat, Christopher Wolfgang. He says, how much time after the SRRV approval do you have to move to the Philippines, Francis?
Mhm. Thank you
Is
very
there a
much for
time
that
limit?
question.
Is there a time
Chris.
limit?
So, how much time for the SRV approval do you have to move to the Philippines? Is this after the SRV approval? I suppose. But one thing that I would also like to emphasize is that during the process of your SRRV application, you need to be here. You need to stay here, because you need to submit your passport to us. We will be getting your passports, because we'll have to stamp the SRRV visa into your passport. So during that time, you need to, you need to allot at least a period of time for the application of SRRV staying here in the Philippines. So you can go on a vacation. When you're on a vacation, you can schedule that alongside with your SRV application. So while you're on a vacation here in the Philippines or processing your SRV, we can do that.
Okay, yeah. Now, Lab Legend, I'm going to read this question. He says, if you are thinking about marrying a Filipina in a year or so, is it better to get the SRV right away, or is it better to just wait and get the 13A marriage visa in a year's time? I would say if you're going to get married and you're going to qualify for the 13A, why would you even get the SRV? I mean, it doesn't, because the 13A doesn't require a deposit. So that's up to you. But I mean, if I'm going to get married, the 13A is a permanent visa, is a permanent resident visa. Is that right, Francis?
Yes, it's a permanent visa as well. However, I'd like to, uh, I'd like to point out something, the difference between the SRV and the 13A. So for the 13A, the condition should be you should be married to a Filipino. So either you're a foreign national married to a Filipino man or a Filipino woman. However, the visa that you hold or the visa that you have is dependent to your spouse. So it means that
Right.
In any case that your marriage doesn't work out, or your wife or your spouse, your husband, um, you know, uh, they change their mind, they went to the immigration, and they tell that things like this and like that. It's not working for the both of you. Um, in any time, the 13A visa can be revoked. So
Oh,
the good
wow.
thing about the SRRV is that when you have the SRRV, the only condition is that you should have the deposit. So the
Okay.
deposit is the equivalent. So as long as you have the deposit in the Philippine bank, you have the SRV. So as long as you're married to a Filipina, you have the 13A. You get my point there,
Okay.
Calvin?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, so the SRV is an independent visa.
Yes, you are
It
correct.
isn't okay. It doesn't have anything to do with a Filipino or anything like that. It's yours.
Correct. Correct. Even
Okay.
though you are married to a Filipino, you can also get an SRV. The good
Right.
thing, the thing about that is you're not dependent to your spouse. You are
Right.
independent.
Okay. Now the Beach of Life said the Smile visa is that still on hold?
Yes. The Beach of Life. Thank you very much for the question. The Smile visa. The Smile is another scheme aside from the classic scheme. So that's the most common scheme actually before. So it's still on hold. We are actually. I'm hoping that we can give you some good news about the Smile scheme. So just to give you a brief background about this one, Calvin. So the
Okay.
Smile visa is given, to uh, it's given to 35 years old and up.
Oh wow.
Yes. So before we allow 35 years old and up to apply for the SRV. That's why I am telling Jonathan a while ago, the
Yeah.
our viewer who asked that question that
Yeah.
he qualifies, however he doesn't meet the age requirement of 50 years old. Before, if you are already 35 years old, you can apply under the Smile scheme, but however that one is put on hold, and we are hoping to bring it back, so please stay tuned.
Okay. What's the deposit? What was the deposit for it?
For the Smile,
Yeah.
before it's also 20,000 US dollars.
Okay. Now, so it didn't require pension then.
No, the pension is only for the classic scheme.
Okay. Now I know there's a pension because some of my viewers are American nationals. They're Filipinos, but they've lived in America. Excuse me, and they've gotten their U.S. citizenship, but now they want to retire in the Philippines. Is there a special visa for them?
Yes, definitely. Uh, they can also apply for the SRRV application. Uh, they qualify under the SRRV no, SRRV courtesy. Yes, so they qualify under the SRV courtesy under the former Filipino. So for
Oh,
former
okay.
Filipinos, it's also $1,500
Okay.
SRRV deposit.
Now he says, KISS, keep it simple, survival. Is the yearly remittance still 15,000? Was that 15,000 pesos? Or is there anything you have to pay every year once you are approved for your SRV?
There's no yearly remittance. So
Okay,
the
good.
SRRV deposit is a one-time deposit that we deposit into the bank as a time deposit. So it accumulates interest. So it will stay there as long as you have the SRRV, as long as you would like to
It's
have
10
the
o'clock.
SRRV, it stays there. So
Okay,
there's no yearly remittance. However, you are given an SRRV ID, so it serves as your Philippine identification, and that one you need to renew yearly.
okay. Now, what is the benefit of having an SRRV versus, say, that long-term stay visa that tourists receive? You know what is what I'm on. Well, actually, I came over on a ballot ban, which turns into a tourist. You know, I can stay over here 36 consecutive months, leave the country for one day, come back, and do it all over again. Are there any
Mhm,
special privileges that I would receive with an SRRV?
mhm. For the SRRV, it's the SRRV is a retirement visa, and some of our customers are old already and they really want to retire. So if you don't have any plans of going out of the country, you can stay here for indefinitely. You can stay here long term. You do not need to go out of the country. So
Right.
um, that's the benefit. That's the main benefit of the SRV. Because if you're in a balikbayan visa, that's only valid for a year and you need to go out and come back. That's very easy. But for the others, for those who are really old, for those who doesn't have any plans of flying anymore, you do not need to go out. You just need to get the SRRV. You stay here for good. So other
Right.
benefits of the SRRV is that you have, aside from the indefinite stay here in the Philippines, you have multiple entry and exit privileges as well. So you are you can come and go anytime. You don't need to apply for a visa. Unlike the tourist visa, you need to apply every time you come in. You have to apply. You have to go to the consulate. You have to go to the embassy to get one. And unlike the SRRV, you can stay as long as you like, and you can come and go anytime that you like. And
Right.
you
But
know,
I can come. Let me stop you right there. I can
mhm.
come and go anytime I want, and I don't have an SRV.
but
If
but
I
the
left, if I left, if I left tomorrow, and I
Mhm.
stayed in the United States for 6 months, I could come back, stay here, leave for 3 days, come back. I've got multiple entry too. Now, what I want to ask you is there any special privileges? Like, can I work? Can I buy a house? What can I do with an SRV besides not having to leave the country? I mean, that's a
Mhm.
lot of money just to pay to not have to leave the country. Do I get some type of health insurance? What kind of special privileges do I receive?
Yes,
This is
yes,
what
yes.
a lot of people want to know.
Mhm. That's only the first part of the benefits. So aside from those, you are exempted from the Philippine Bureau of Immigration ACRI card annual report. And you have at least, for you are exempted also from custom duties and taxes for one-time importation of household goods and personal effects worth up to 7,000 US dollars, tax from pensions and annuities. So you are also exempted from the travel tax if the retiree has not stayed in the Philippines for a year, and if you have kids, they can study here. And if you want to study here, you're also exempted from the student visa or the study permit. You also you are also entitled for the Philippine Health Benefit and Privileges. So the Philippine Health or the PhilHealth is the Philippine Health Insurance. So you're also entitled to that.
Okay. Because I saw somewhere where I can also open up a Philippine bank account.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yes, yes, you are correct. When you get the SRV, you get the SRV ID, which you can present as your Philippine identification, to buy condominium, or if you want to get your driver's license here, you want to open your
Yeah.
bank account, you want to buy a car. So that's as your Philippine ID. You can
But it
also work
doesn't.
here and do business.
Yeah.
So when you work here, you don't need to get the working visa. You only need to get the AEP, or the Alien Employment Permit. So you just need to get the permit, and you can already work here.
Oh, okay. So, but I still can't buy land with SRV.
Yes, you still
Right.
can't buy land with the SRRV. With any other
Okay.
visa as well, you can still buy land.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I love LaChan says, I don't understand why there's a 50-year requirement. Is it to prevent a younger retiree from staying there long term? What's the point of 50? Which is, you probably don't know that answer, but if you do, why 50?
So 50 years old, as I've said before, 35 years old, we were allowing 35 years old before. So the age requirement before is that you need to get you need to be at least 35 years old in order for you to be able to apply. But they put that on hold, and we retained the 50 years old. So this is the decision of the national government, because they said that 35 years old is such a young age, and there's not much retirees, or you know retiring at that age. People retiring at that age. So that's why they put that on hold, and they put up the 50 years old. However, PRA is currently negotiating that with the national government, and we're hoping to bring it back. So
Okay.
please stay tuned. Yes, please stay tuned.
Now he says, what if you have a bad mark on your record from 20 years ago? Would that stop you from getting an SRV? But just let me reword that. What would be something that would stop you from being approved? Is there something that would stop me from being approved for my SRV if something comes up on my criminal record?
Well, that actually depends, but I've had a lot of clients already before, which, they have a bad mark, bad record in their um, criminal, in their criminal certificate, the police certificate.
Right.
But the all of them, okay, I'd like to point out that all of them, 100% of those customers, of those clients, were able to get the SRRV. PRA is very considerate when it comes to this, because you know
Yeah.
if that's from 20 years ago, when you're still young and crazy, and you're doing things like those and things like that, that's already, that doesn't count anymore. We can't justify that. But if
Yeah.
it's just simple, simple things like, like traffic violations, things like those, it's it's that's just very minor.
Right. Yeah, and I'm like KC. Francis doesn't make the rules, guys. That 50-year-old, why is it 50? That's something you would have to talk to Philippine Retirement Authority about. It wouldn't be something uh, that he would really be able to answer. Now, what is your fee, Francis? If I come off the street and I say, hey, Francis, I need help processing my SRRV, how much will it cost me?
um so aside from all the fees that you're going to pay in the Philippine Retirement Authority to get the visa,
Right.
so for the assistance from the very beginning, for example, you're here, then just met you, and then you want to get the visa, uh
I mean,
to
your
have.
charges. Your
Yes, my
charges.
charges.
Yeah.
I charge $100 for the SRV assistance from the
Wow.
very beginning to the end.
Is that all? That's
Yes,
cheap.
that's all. That's all. And you can also ask Mr. Robert White about it, because he's one of our clients, and he just got the SRV.
Yeah, he's the one that gave me your information, and I asked him to tell you to reach out to me. He's very happy. I thought it would be more expensive than that. That's very, for all the work that you do. That's very cheap. I'd say that's a really good investment.
Thank you, Calvin.
It really is. And the Beach of Life said, guys using should in Philippines is getting tired. You have no authority to change things here. Be at peace as a guest and follow the current rules. Don't stress. Enjoy the honey. Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's one of my rules here, Francis, that I try to instill on my subscribers. Mind your own business over here. Don't come over here trying to tell the Philippine government what's wrong with the country and how to fix it, because we're good at that, especially Americans. We're good at telling people what's wrong and how to fix it, instead of just actually, I say, excuse my language, shut the fuck up and mind your own business. Okay, that's what I tell guys. Okay, because I don't sugarcoat it. They come over here trying to run things, and you're not in your own country anymore, guys. And I apologize, Francis. I didn't mean to offend you, but that's just my saying, okay? That's my rule number one.
No, I agree with that, Calvin.
Okay, Digital Swag, thanks for that super chat. He says, excellent content, Calvin. Hope to see you in December when I visit. The real nitty gritty, baby. Thank you, Digital Swag. Yeah, we appreciate you, Francis, coming on today, answering our questions. If you would, go ahead and type in your contact information for anybody who may want to get in contact with you and learn more about the SRRV process and to hire you.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because
Mhm. So I typed in my
just type it in, and okay, you already did. I see it.
yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put this. Let me see if I can copy this. Yeah, I'll copy this, and then I will put it in the regular chat. And I want you guys to get in contact with him, because I've got one of my subscribers who's really, really happy with his services. There it is right there. He said, to learn more about the SRRV, you may visit our website at www.retirementguidephilippines.com. YouTube is Retirement in the Philippines. Emails retirementguide.ph@gmail.com. And then his WhatsApp, everybody. Okay, Christopher Wolfgang, thanks for that super chat. He said, what's classified as a pension, Francis?
Yes.
That's a great question.
Thank you very much for that, Christoph. So what's classified as a pension should the only requirement that we need for the pension is that it should be lifetime, lifetime pension, such as your Social Security or your veterans pension. And we will evaluate, aside from those, if you have any other pensions that we may deem qualify as pension.
Yeah.
And the pension should be issued by the government.
Right. Now, see, people said, well, they don't include my disability in retirement income. That's because your disability can be changed. It can be taken away, guys. That's what you don't understand. It's not guaranteed unless you have to be evaluated and all of that. So I guess that's one of the reasons they don't accept the disability income. Yeah, guys, let's get the thumbs up, because Francis comes on here sacrifices his time,
Mhm.
answers these questions because it's very important. A lot of people are very, very interested in this SRV. But I'm going to be honest with you, Francis. I've been coming here on and off since 2009. It
Mhm.
was only when the pandemic and the lockdowns hit that the interest in the SRRV went way up. Because before that, it wasn't. I'm pretty sure you've seen your business increase since
Mhm.
the lockdowns, right?
Yes, that's true. Because during the pandemic, the one of the first uh, people who were able to come in when we lifted, when we eased the restrictions are those with the SRRV.
Yeah.
Because it was just this year that we allowed, tourist visa holders to come in. So it's
Right.
really, one of the privileges that you can have.
Let me ask you something. Why was it for short time, even if you had an SRV, you wasn't able to enter the Philippines? What was
That's
that
a
all
very
about?
Yes, that's a very nice question, Calvin. I'd like to actually clarify this to you and to most SRV holders, because during that period of time, when the pandemic hit, when it started, um, everybody doesn't know about COVID. Everybody was afraid, and even the government is taking precaution. That's why all visa holders, regardless if it's a special visa or a regular visa, are not allowed to enter. And it's not only foreign nationals, Calvin, I'd like to point out, even
Yeah.
Filipino nationals aren't allowed to come in. So
Okay.
it's not just foreigners, even Filipinos themselves can't come home because
Wow.
we are really on a lockdown. We are really restricting entry from outside because we're in here. We don't know what's COVID is about. We don't have the vaccines yet. There's not a lot of information about it, and everybody was afraid. So I'd like to clarify that it's not only SRV holders and other special visa holders who weren't allowed to come in. Even Filipino nationals aren't able to come in.
Right. But I'm just saying that a lot of people they get that SRV and they think, oh, I can come here under no matter what circumstances, but that's not true, right?
Yes,
Because
that's
they
not
would it,
true.
right, that's right.
Yes, that's
Now
not
he
true.
says, could this SRV work with other countries? Yeah, you don't just have to be an American citizen to get an SRV. That would certainly limit that would defeat the whole purpose of the Philippine Retirement Authority. Chinese have SRVs,
Yes.
Japanese, Korean. When I was in the last time I was in Dumaguete, there was a Canadian. He had just got his approved. He was happy. Um, Now let me see what this is saying. He's saying it for foreigner wife has a Philippine marriage visa. Could she do an SRV? I mean, what would that I mean, you could. He says you could because, but I mean, what do you mean if the Filipina if the woman is not a Filipino, non-Filipino, yeah, she can get an SRV. He said it's a SRV is an independent visa, right,
You're
Francis?
correct, Calvin. Yes, you are correct, Calvin.
Okay, and so yeah, she could. Jonathan S. Thanks for the super chat. He said, as Francis stated, the 35-year rule is on pause. So I'm sure that there might be special circumstances that perhaps he can look into as long as documentation and everything else is in order. Well, right now, that's on hold.
Yes, Jonathan. But you can send us an email, Jonathan, and we can check your documents. And when everything is back, then we're
Yeah,
good to go.
absolutely. Now, is there anything else you want to say, Francis? Again, I want to thank you for joining us today. We put up your information, and I'm going to put it in the description, that same link in the description of this video, because there's a lot of interest in this SRV. There's a lot of questions. This thing could go on forever. These guys would ask you questions all day. And I know Sunday is family day here in the Philippines. You don't
Mm-hmm.
work on Sunday, do you?
It's only Sundays that I don't work, but you know, anytime if I have time, I still check, my WhatsApp, my email, even on Sundays for,
Yeah.
a period of time, because there are a lot of clients coming in asking questions, and just feel free to send me a message, send me an email, and we'll respond to you as soon as possible.
Yeah. Rick McCurl says, thank you very much, Francis. I'll be getting in touch with you soon.
Thank you
You're
very
going to
much.
get a lot of
Forward.
interest from this channel because my viewers and subscribers are serious about this SRRV. The interest is just off the roof, really. So thank you so much, Francis. We really appreciate it.
Thank you
You're
very much.
welcome to come back anytime. Just reach out to me and say, hey, I got some more information, or if the Smile Visa becomes available again, whatever you want to do, just let me know and we'll get you on here.
Thank you very much, Calvin, for the time
Take
that
care.
you've given me. So before I end, I'd like to reiterate that if you would like to learn more about the SRRV, you may visit our website at www.retirementguidephilippines.com, our YouTube channel at Retirement in the Philippines, our email retirementguide.ph@gmail.com, and my WhatsApp at 6394597275552. Thank you very much, Calvin,
Yeah.
for your time. And
One
thank you
more
very much
thing.
for the viewers.
One more thing, Francis, before you go. They keep bringing up this annual renewal, but you said there is no annual renewal for
No, no,
SRB, right?
no. Let me correct that one, Calvin. There is an annual renewal. There's no annual remittance. So the annual renewal is for your ID, because the ID is valid for a year only.
Okay. How much is that?
So for the classic scheme, that's 360 US dollars for the whole
Okay.
year.
All right.
And if you are expanded courtesy military veteran, that's only $10 per year, and the
Oh,
first
wow.
the first year
Wow.
is waived. The first year is free.
Yeah. And that's still not bad because the interest rates here are pretty good. You're probably just earning that on your 20,000, really,
Mm-hmm.
I would
That's
say. Well, okay, Francis, thank you so much for your time again. Enjoy your Sunday. Where are you right now? You said you're in Manila?
Yes, I am in Manila, and I'm in the heart of Manila.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know I stayed down by Ermita. You far from there?
Probably around 5 kilometers from Ermita.
Oh, wow. That's not that far then. Yeah. I
Yes,
like
that's not
that
that
area
far.
over there. We went to the Dolomite Beach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you
over
like
there.
it?
I did. We took some nice pictures. I just like that area down there by the U.S. Embassy, and it's just a real nice place. I really like being down there. It kind of reminds me of being at home, for real, to be honest with you, except for the palm trees and the coconut trees and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and the beautiful women, by the way. Other than that, it's like
Yeah.
I'm in Chicago or something. But okay, thanks again. Take
Thanks
care.
again, Calvin.
All right.
Hope to see you soon, and have a great day, everybody.
All right. Yeah, I want to thank Francis for all that information. And see, I listen to guys, Robert White, man. I want to give a good special shout out to you, man, because he asked me, he said, Calvin, man, this guy really knows his stuff and he'd be good for your viewers because the interest in SRV skyrocketed during this um, pandemic. Otherwise, man, it was like crickets. I had never even heard of it, to be honest with you. Wesley Groth, he says, I'm a conservative investor in the USA. I like to invest in the Philippines to get financially seeded and diversified as a tourist. What visa would be proper? I'm not sure of that. I'm not sure. That's a good question for a lawyer. Hey, hillbilly in Asia. Yeah, guys, I'm thinking about having a meet and greet here in St. Carlos City because it's not that far from, if you're in Cebu, especially if you're in Bacolod, or you can fly from Manila to Cebu if anybody wants to. I'm gonna see if I can get it for next weekend. Megs, we got the swimming pool. We'll have the food, the drinks. I don't drink, Of course, I invite some single people, men and women. Let me know what y'all think about that. KC said, Wesley, check out investor visas. We should have asked Francis about this because this visa's also one of the vloggers, I forgot his name, John Smoot, I think it's his name, Smulo or something. He's a great guy. I've met him here a couple of times. He's got an investor's visa. He says that when I was first coming around to the Philippines, they said if you start a company here and you hire 10 Filipinos full time, they'll give you a special lifetime visa. And I think that's it. Hey, Robert White. Yeah, that's Robert White. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And I know you're back in the States right now. When are you coming back, Robert? Because I know Greg asked me that yesterday. Well, no, at Booby's birthday. I'm not sure. Mo Williams said Calvin is always giving good information. That's why these other vloggers are trying to bring him down. Now, they try to bring me down because they can't create content on their own. There's so much content over here, guys. If you're a vlogger, it's no excuse. I could make 5 videos a day. There's so much content here in the Philippines. That's why it's so popular. Probably one of the most popular genres on YouTube. He said, I can wear my mankini. Yeah. But, a lot of Europeans come over here and they wear those mankinis, man. And Filipinos, they don't know how to take it. I don't know how to take it. When they wear them little Speedos and stuff. That's crazy. What's he saying? Timed out for telling the truth and being honest. Don't let hardworking foreigners lose their investments. What are you talking about? I don't understand that. Hey, believes in everyone. He said, congratulations, Calvin, on that case. Hey, the monkey's off your back. Yeah, no more NBI. But yeah, they'll find something, man. They got a cyber crime in the PNP. But I don't care, man. I'm not doing anything wrong, so let them come. Eric B says, as a U.S. veteran, the process for the SRRV went very easy for me because I had all my paperwork prepared. So there is one thing that you need to have in order for it to be smooth and easy. What is that? Hey, Herbert. He says, next weekend's too soon, Calvin, maybe 3 months. Well, it doesn't really cost a lot. You can rent Meg's. Okay, listen to this. This is why I love the Philippines. You can rent Meg's Resort. They'll have the outside party room. And for 30 people, it's 350 pesos per person. And the food is good. Now, you got to bring your own. And then I think 5 people get to swim free. But the people get it free admission because I want to say it's 50 pesos entrance fee for adults and 25 for children. I won't say that. I can't really, but you get in free for that. You get the food and 5 people swim. And if you want to swim, it's 150 pesos for adults, 100 for kids. I mean, it's really, really a nice place. And, you can either BYOB, but I always supply the beer, but I don't supply the liquor. Yeah, the Speedos, man. They wear them here. Europeans and Americans they wear them. I can't get it. But the Filipinos, they be looking just so embarrassed when they see that stuff. And even with bikinis, I mean, you can see it. Especially if you go to Boracay, you're going to see it at Boracay. You're going to see bikinis in Panglao, Bahal, at Alona Beach. And you'll see the locals. They're not used to seeing it like that. Not on that scale. Because Filipinos are now starting to become a little bit more liberated when it comes to these bikinis. Because we went to Lakawan Island, and I was glad I had my sunglasses on, because it was actually a Filipino that had on a G-string bikini there. I was shocked. I'd never seen that before. What is this? He says, hey, Calvin, best is board house or in. What do you mean? What's the best? What do you mean, a boarding house? I wouldn't stay in a boarding house here. You wouldn't have to. If that's what you're saying. Or pension house, if that's what you're talking about. They've got some nice pension houses. That Ace Pension House is right up the road from the airport. If you're tired, you want a nice, clean place, and it's right across the street from Gesano Mall. Just check in there for a day or two to get your sea legs underneath you, and then head on over the bridge. Because for anybody who doesn't know, when you fly into Cebu, you're flying into Mactan, Cebu. You're flying into the island of Cebu. Then you have to take a taxi or a private van or something over the bridge to Cebu City. I didn't even know that when I first came here, to be honest with you. I thought I was in Cebu already. Calvin says investor's visa for Indonesia only $300. My brother built a house there and lives there. You know, a lot of people go to Indonesia. Bali is one of the favorite places for UK residents. I think like 1 million. Even after that bombing there, I was watching that bombing a couple of months ago on YouTube. That was pretty interesting. A lot of people got killed in there. Y'all remember that? Hey, Jonathan, he said, thanks, Cal. It just goes to show how great you are as far as an influence and real information source as far as boots on the ground. It's appreciated. And the bikinis definitely don't hurt. Yeah, you see a lot more of that now. When I first came over here, the outfit, and even most of the time now for a Filipino, is shorts and a long sleeve shirt. But now, you know, if you go to some of these places, you see it all. You know, the first time I met Marilyn, we went to Siquijor Island, and she had on a bikini, and I was shocked. But it wasn't as skimpy as the bikini she's wearing now, but it still was a bikini, and I was it was one of them things I filed away up here. I said, this is interesting. Stephen, what's up, Stephen? He says, Valentine visa is still one of the best if married to a Filipino. Yeah, because you get that first year visa fee free. There's no fees that you pay. Yeah, I was asking Marilyn about this yesterday. Most of the bed spacers over here, they only want women only. They won't let men. And I asked her, I couldn't hear her response yesterday. I said, why is that? Is it because they know women are working and women are going to pay? Are they better boarders than men? I didn't know. Yeah, the bombing was in 2002. Yeah, I watched it, man. They killed a lot of people, and it took you all the way through. They was actually showing the actual footage of how they set it up and everything. I still can't remember who did that. I don't know if there was a Al-Qaeda or anything back then or not. Clint Dow says, hey, people, I'm enjoying Palawan. About to go out with my girl and get calamari at the pier. Yeah. See, that's living. That's what getting away from the rat race is all about. I'm going to upload a video on Tuesday about really what life is really like for me over here. It's not trying to figure out Filipinos and cost of living analysis and counseling people. Really, it's trying to get used to relaxing 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 46 seconds out of the day. You're going to hit a lot of blind spots over here, man. You better learn how to relax before you get over here, because that's when you really leave the rat race. We're so used to that chaos and ripping and running that we can't relax. I see foreigners all the time, man. They're like this over here, and I'm like, man, slow down, relax. You know, you're retired, or you're on vacation or whatever, but man, we rip and run like we're still at home, man, and you miss so much when you do that. Yeah, it's true. Well, it's true. He said Filipino expats keep telling me they go into PH with their PH passport and leave with their foreign passport to not pay the departure fee. Yeah, and that's what you would do. Otherwise, you would, and then you would have to have a visa. You can't come back to America with a Filipino passport unless you got a visa. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. That's how I do my children. When they come over here, they use their Filipino passport, and then coming back, they use the American passport. Oh, okay. It was. I didn't know. See. Oh, okay. He said for investment. Yeah, I would say a boarding house near a college, or really near a mall, because a lot of the workers and students that come into these big cities, they're not from that city, hillbilly. So if you build a boarding house, it's a great investment. But remember, you want to stay far away as you possibly can. You don't even want them to know that you have anything to do with that, because you're going to be in direct competition with Filipinos and Chinese and whoever it is that are opening up these boarding houses, because they know it's a big money maker, and you don't want to get in any trouble. But yeah, that's a good business, because those workers, they have to have some place to stay. And if you just make it nice and affordable, you're going to take a lot of business. Because when I met my son's mother, believe it or not, they stayed in, this was in 2010. They lived in a little small room. It was so small that she slept with her back on the floor and her legs on the walls. True story. And it was 1,500 pesos per month. Her and her roommate. It was a little tiny place. And of course, the bathroom was separate outside. You know, it was like a dormitory, a shared bath. And it was pretty bad, to be honest with you. But they know what Filipinos expect a lot more than I do. Jawan Ward said, Brother Cal, have you watched the movie in theaters Made in Malacanang? It will give you information that will help fill in a blank for you. I haven't. I seen movies. It's in theaters now. I love the child said my son was considering buying a house or apartment and renting out rooms in a longer boat, which is a great idea. Or a hostel. You know, the Philippines, man, I'm going to tell you a great source of information over here. When you see these backpackers walking around, these foreigners with they got backpacks, or if they don't have their backpack, you'll tell, because, you know, their clothes they don't have an iron, so their clothes are wrinkled. They may have, 5 o'clock shadow on their face. The woman's hair is, it's not straight. These are the people who have all the information. They're all over the Philippines. They know where the cheap food is, the cheap accommodations, the best beaches. So don't walk past them and think, oh, these are bums or drug addicts. A lot of these people are rich, really. They spend their summer vacations over here and they just travel all over. I was going to do that, but I don't know, man. You gotta really know that arena, because you're sleeping in dormitory style places, and you gotta really watch out. You gotta know what you're doing. Clint Dow says, I don't want to do any work anymore, but I think they need a real pawn shop here. But hell, they got pawn shops here. You really don't want to get involved in that. And that's another thing. A guy was asking me about jewelry. He sent me an email. He said, do you think the jewelry is less expensive here or in America? I said, absolutely here. Especially 18 karat gold, man. Go to the pawn shop and get your jewelry here. That way you know it's real. And you're going to get just some unbelievable deals, because they're strict here. And they're not giving a whole lot for your jewelry or what diamonds or whatever. Because I was in Dumageddon, because the lawyer is right next to immigration. And there was a foreigner and his girlfriend, wife, and this guy had just a hell of a chain. And he left out of there because they didn't want to give him what he wanted for it. He was grumbling and said, well, hell, he said, they gave me such and such for it in Manila or whatever. And the lady looked at him like, well, you're not in Manila. But if you want to get some just good pieces of jewelry, then go into the pawn shop. We were in Bacala the other day, man. I was tempted, but I don't even wear jewelry. To be honest with you. Not anymore, anyway. Hey, Pumpkin Joe, Philippine Experience said, my wife rented an boarding bed space before we met. It's definitely nothing to write home about, but it's the cheapest option for Providence Filipinos working in the city. Absolutely. If you can come up with one like that, because it's location. But see, over in the Philippines, it really isn't, man. The Filipinos, as long as they can find a place they can afford, hell, they'll take two rides to get to work or school or whatever. But Pumpkin Joe Philippine Experience, if I were you, this is just a suggestion. He's selling his house, guys. Man, I would put that on my YouTube channel. If you want to come over here and talk about it, I would. Hey, Franz Procio Jr., thanks for the super chat. He said, what's up, Brother Cal? Sorry, brother, I fell asleep yesterday. Yeah, when you called me, I was in the tricycle, man. You can't hear over those tricycles. I don't know what kind of engines they have in them. But yeah, Pumpkin Joe's Philippine Experience. If I were you, I wouldn't wait just on those real estate agents to try to sell my house. I would bring it on my YouTube channel and everybody else's YouTube channel that you can get on. Somebody will buy that place because we're the ones who got the money. Jenna Lynn Corentano says, hello, I'm a Filipino from Samar Island. I still live here in California and ready to move to the Philippines once my husband is ready to retire. I built a house in Samar while I was still working. Wow. I tip my hat to you. And this is what most Filipinos do. The ones who are in their right state of mind, who don't get starstruck when they go to America. They will buy property and they will build a house or two over here. Which is, why wouldn't you? When you're over there, you're earning that kind of money, and then you send it back to a peso economy. You see what I did, for 1 million pesos, man. I challenge anybody to beat this. And here's the thing. It really didn't cost 1 million pesos to build this. Remember, he made a profit. I don't know how much he made, but he probably made 300,000 profit, I'm sure. See? And he says, where is the house? Pumpkin Joe Philippines Experience, he lives in Dumaguete, and he lives in a gated subdivision with 24-hour security. You know, the whole 9 yards, man. You know, he's got a nice house. And I'm pretty sure he probably work with you, man. And I have to agree with you right here with him. Except Tony P says the best investment in the fields, if you have extra income, is to buy property for rent. Don't expect a return of investment in 10 years. Just think of it as source of passive income. One for money that otherwise sits in the bank. Yeah, now, what I would do, I always tell guys, if you really want to earn money over here without being seen and be behind the scenes, I would sublease. But it's only going to work if you're in a place where tourists come. Cebu, Manila, Dumaguete, all those places like that. Surigao, because you could easily find a local place. Just say, for instance, my apartment I was renting before we came here. Now imagine the rent was only $8,500 per month. Imagine and I had 2 bedrooms. Imagine if I subleased that every day for 1,000 pesos a day, which is less than $20 now. You got all the furniture and everything in there. Hell, that would be 1,000 each room. That would be 2,000 pesos per day. That's just, just to keep it simple, that's 60,000 pesos per month. And I'm only paying 8,500. They wouldn't know you from the man in the moon that you're a foreigner doing that. And I would put everything in it that foreigners like. I mean, I wouldn't spare really any expense because it's going to set yourself above the crowd. But subleasing, guys, that's what I would look into. And, Filipinos wouldn't know the difference. They wouldn't know who's doing it. And Ken McLeod says, beware of the Filipinos. Well, Filipinos you don't have anything to beware of yourself, guys, okay? It's not the Filipino. We're our worst enemy over here. See, we treat Filipinos with soft hands as if they're crystal. Filipinos are stone. They're tough as nails over here. They won't break, and we can't break them. But we treat them that way, and they see it as us as being soft and weak. And they don't respect us, man. We're doing it to ourselves. It's not the woman, guys. You got to come over here. We don't even take time out to try to learn about the culture. We just come over here and make the biggest mistake you could possibly make. And that's thinking that everything over here works the same way as it does in your country, but it doesn't. All you have to do is watch her reaction or interaction, rather, with the Filipino man. We're not talking about mistreating anybody. We're just saying, come over here and take your rightful place in the order of things. But we don't do that. We come over here, we put them on pedestals, and we spoil them. We do everything to make her not respect us, to make us look too easy to them. And that's the reputation we have now, is being easy. Why do you think these women don't bat an eye? They're not afraid to ask you for money. It didn't used to be that way, man. They should be very, very shy and bashful for asking for money. But now they ask you for money in a heartbeat because they don't respect you. No, it's not, we can disagree and get along, but nobody's going to cheat you over here unless you allow them to cheat you. Yeah, that's right. They're tough as nails, but we come over here and we treat them with soft hands, man. And they look at that as being weak. I put on my community page, I said, she's She's with you because life is hard. And the first chance you get, you make it easy. If she had it easy, she wouldn't be with you, man. But we don't even give time for the relationship to iron itself out. We come right over here and jump into everything, man. And a lot of you guys, y'all took that video personally, man. Don't do that. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing over here. It's been a big change from 2009 to now. And we're doing it to ourselves. Imagine a woman asking, saying, oh, well, this is in her mind. I give them credit for saying it out loud. She said, oh, no, you got to have $2,000 US because it's going to cost at least $1,000 for me. You got to look at things. You're like, this is coming from a Filipino, guys, who is used to eating rice and salt. And now all of a sudden she's saying, hey, you got to give me 50,000 pesos every month, which is lifetime money. And we come over here and we do it like it's nothing. We bend to their demands. We do it. All you got to do is say no. And then go on to the next one. If she don't want to deal with it, say, look, I want to see if this thing is going to work out. Who are you? And then don't you want to know who I am? But we come over here, the minute we get off the plane, man, we start just going crazy, man. Now, this is a fact here. He says, Mike Perry says, very beautiful women in Samar. Well, he says, very beautiful beach areas and humble lifestyle as well. I was watching a YouTube documentary on Samar. This is where a lot of the bar girls that you see working in Manila, they come from. And they only want beautiful women in those places. So yeah, he's right about that. But it's also the poorest area in the Philippines. Samar is. It's one of the poorest. Hey, the Gentleman's Blend, thanks for that super sticker. Pumpkin Joe's Philippine Experience says, foreigners develop property and fill their homes with amenities in the Philippines. Filipinos built or buy the home, but no furnishings that aren't necessary. Yeah, different mindsets. Yeah, this is what I was talking about on the video. I said, a lot of times when you talk to foreigners over here, they take you out of the Philippines and you're back in America, France, or whatever it is, and that's not where I want to be. I want to be in the Philippines. But the minute you sit down and start talking about us Trump or Stephon Kerry or whatever it is that's going on over there, because we bring our mindset over here and instead of leaving it over there. Brasilero Shelton, what's up, Larry? Says, what about you renting a nice house like you had before the house you built and renting it out to some of your loyal subscribers? Well, see, that's what I'm saying. But see, I don't want to do anything like that. They would have the PNP on me in a second. That's just an advice that I give people. I don't want anything that resembles work over here. I didn't come over here to do any kind of business, any kind of job, anything that resembles work. I'm retired. This is just something that I have a gift to do. So I just do it. I don't consider it work. I love doing it. So, but anything that I have to go knock on somebody's door, sitting around waiting for you to bring me the rent money or something like that, that's too much like work. That's too stressful dealing with people like that. And I don't want to do that. But it would be a good passive income for somebody who's still young and still wants to get involved in that rat race, that day-to-day operations. I don't want that. I came over to get away from that. He said, it seems like a nice idea for you to have a decent passive income. I don't want that, though. It's too much. You pay a price for that. Calvin, he said, is rent cheap in the Philippines? Lowest rent here is $500 US or 25,000. Get a nice 3-bedroom and 2-bath in Cebu for 15,000. Yeah, I rented a condominium brand new. They had just built it. This is in 2010, though. It was 15,000, but that wasn't including my utilities and everything. Absolutely. Matter of fact, believe it or not, John Gomez, he's not on here today. I don't see him. He sent me a link where Jersey City has the highest rent in America right now, $5,250 per month. You would be a shot caller over here in the Philippines for that kind of money. And if somebody, that's just their rent, I mean, wow. I mean, what's going on over there, to be honest with you? That's crazy. $5,250. You would be an absolute shot call over here if you bought that kind of money over here on a regular basis. You was getting that every month. That's a fact. Hey, Globalismo Black Man says, keep on dropping the nitty-gritty boots on the ground experience for newbies and regular folks alike living in the Philippines. I just want to share my experiences over here. If it can just help you in any kind of way, just the tiniest way. We know so little about the Philippines. Very little. Manny Pacquiao, I keep forgetting to put him out there. We do know about him, Manila, and poverty, and bar girls. That's it. There's so much more to the Philippines, man. I'm getting ready to upload a video, man. I'm over here in this hot springs right up the road. Beautiful place, man. It's so much content. It's so much to do here. You wouldn't believe it. But we stay stuck. We don't get out. We don't roam around. We know very little about it. So if I can say, hey, look, here's a few do's and don'ts. I'm not an expert on the Philippines. I'm not a know-it-all on the Philippines. I just share with you what I've learned. And if it can help you, just like a guy wrote me yesterday, said, hey, thank you for that, referral on the Pancake House in Manila. I really enjoyed the food. He said, I'm in Cebu now. He says, any place. And I told him the AA barbecue. See, it's just little stuff like that because you're not going to know when you get over here. And she's not going to know because she doesn't eat any place. Mostly place they'll eat is the calendarias or the Inasal, which is 99 peso meals. They're not going to know any place. Hey, Q, he said, quintessential one, said, I'm glad you prevailed at your meeting with the Philippines FBI. Salute, Calvin. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing there. You can't present any evidence that doesn't exist. And this is what they were trying to do. I think they really are just trying to put me on the radar of these people, but I'm not going to change. I mean, they don't realize that the world's 197 million square miles. The earth, rather. I mean, if getting me put out of the Philippines is going to make their life any better, which it won't, then I'll go somewhere else. It's no big deal to me, man. To be honest with you, I'm not going to lie. Mike Perry said, my next time I come to the Philippines, I'm going to visit the the ADA people and immerse my desire for knowledge of their culture. I have to learn their history to truly know the history of the Philippines. Well, I would get me like a tour guide to take me up there. You got to realize, guys, be careful when you come over here. We can't just go rummaging all around the place in certain areas, especially I admire your desire to want to get to know the ADA tribes, but you better get a welcoming committee to take you there. You don't want to just start walking up to these places. They don't know who you are. It could be trouble. Hey, you dirty puppy, what's going on? You know that Arthur and his wife, they got a beautiful coffee shop and a car wash now. It's called Roadster 95. It's really nice. It's right around the corner from me. I've been there a couple of times. This is the only place we take Maryland's motorcycle to get it washed now. It's really nice. And I'm just telling you that because I know your daughter is dating his son. I guess they're still together. But it's really, really a nice place. Oh, okay. Wow. He says, at Sunshine Shows, we broke ground on the house yesterday in South Villa. Yeah, see, man, that's what I'm talking about. But you've been with your girlfriend for long enough. You know her now. You trust her now. You know she's not going anywhere. You did the right thing. Get to know the people, man, before you start making moves like that. Hell, I was with Maryland for over 2 years before I even thought about trying to build a house, and the only reason I did it because of Booby. You know, I got some skins in the game. What's up, Vince? I was over Gail's. I'm going to upload an interview, guys, with Gail. So many of y'all asked me to do an update on Gail, so I went over her house yesterday. We had a good conversation. She said, you were over there drunk, Vince. I said, yeah, he left my house. Hell, he had drunk about 3. I think you drank 3 Red Horses over here. And she said, yeah, you were drunk over there. I said, well, hell, he's retired. He can get drunk. You dirty puppy said, to see my wife hold her head up high was worth the sacrifice. Yeah, it puts them on a whole other level. Really, it does. A house is very, very important over here. And especially because y'all got children, it just gives them some stability. And I know you still got children that go to school, and that's important, man. You know, I was a junior in high school when my sister bought my mother a house. And just to know that we had some place to go no matter what, because we moved around a lot growing up. When my mother and father split up, my mother, man, I guess we'd stay in a house a year or two, and hell, we'd be moving again. And, you know, you have to meet new friends and just all that moving. And then when she finally bought that house, we were there until she died. It's a big deal. Pumpkin Joe's Philippine Experience says, I just started eating at Krispy King for chicken after 5 years because I was scared of the small chicken stands. For 40 pesos, the quality and size are really nice. Throw some hot sauce on it. Yummy. There's a lot of these little chicken places like that, these little stands. We've got one here, believe it or not. For 15 pesos, you get a nice sized piece of chicken. You buy you 4 or 5 pieces, throw some hot sauce on it, buy you a Coke. There you go. For about $1.20, you got you a nice meal. Yeah, you dirty puppy. Yeah, she's you got a nice looking woman, man. You know, you making the right decision, especially in a place like St. Carlos City. But see, you got a whole lot more money than me. South Villa is really where the movers and shakers live. I couldn't afford to move there. I think they've got a minimum on how much you can build a house for over there. You can't just buy a plot of land over there and just build any kind of house. There's a minimum, man. I was shocked too, but yeah, there's a minimum over there. Now he's talking about BGC, man. This place, when you go to BGC, I went there one time, and I want to thank Mark Rowland for taking me in Maryland. I would have never been. We were in Manila when I came back off my visa run. He took us there, me, him, and Franz, another guy, and we went to BGC, man. It's nice. It's like you might as well you could be in Bangkok or LA or anywhere you think. He said, but anybody looking for a place to rent in BGC, you can throw your questions at me. I'm local. I'm not in the realty business. I'm just here to help with your questions. Yeah, it's pretty expensive there, isn't it? Do you get what you pay for? Rees William Alona says $1,000 a month and you can live like a rich man in the Philippines. 1,000 is worth 53,000 pesos. Well, now 55, almost 56,000 in pesos, where you can rent a very beautiful house for around 12,000 pesos monthly in St. Carlos City. Absolutely. But what we do is, instead of trying to come over here and learning the ropes of a peso economy, Rees, we bring our mindset over here. And so 1,000 pesos, we don't know how to live off. I mean, $1,000 a month, we don't know how to live, because we're going to immediately start looking for what we think is a deal. $500 a month, that's a deal for rent. Not realizing, man, that's a high end over here in the Philippines. So it takes a while to get adjusted over here in this peso economy. We overspend, man, on a lot of things. You could really, okay, you see the guy, Oliver, I was able to get him that $175 per month apartment. That's a nice place for him. He's by himself. It just depends on what your situation is, but I don't see any reason. You defeat the purpose to me to come over here and get a $650 per month. And one guy was renting $800 per month in the Philippines. I don't care, man. I'm sorry, man. In my opinion, you have to. I mean, I mean, you're defeating the purpose, man, when you're paying that kind of money in the Philippines. Oh yeah, this JCO Donuts here, yeah, they're on point. When they open up in Zamboanga City, and this is no lie, they're inside the KCC mall. The line was wrapped around the mall. And I'm thinking, well, hell, these must be some hell of a donuts. They are, but not for me. See, I'm not going to wait in a line. Filipinos, they got patience, man. They'll wait all day in a line. And pre-pandemic, just about everything you did, you had to stand in a line. But it's very popular here. But I just like the Krispy Kreme, believe it or not. You Dirty Puppy said at Sunshine Shoulders, the lot was $1 million. Wow. Not a bad deal when you think about what it means to her. Yeah, and then now something like that, that's a lot of money for a lot. But you're right. The lot will always be worth more than you paid for it. The prices never go down here, guys. I promise you. Remember, I was telling you the Maryland sister, somebody purchased a lot for her. I think it was $1,060,000 pesos. Hell, 2 weeks later, it may have been less than that. She sold it for 1.3. I mean, it's really a good investment. There's no telling how much this is worth now, because we're coming up on a year. I'm pretty sure it went up. It keeps going up. So, when it's all said and done, she's already rich, built by Filipino standards, by the masses. See? And, I just sleep good at night knowing that if something happened to me, they're taken care of, really. Yeah, well, to be honest with you, Daniel, man, I don't have anything against these channels. They have it against me. I consider YouTube, I consider the community, man. I don't have anything against those guys. Listen. I don't know if you're trying to bait me into talking about them, but you won't do it. I just don't have time for that. I'm on vacation, man. A perpetual vacation. I don't have time to be arguing with people. I mean, I don't know why people would even waste their time over here in the Philippines doing that. And when we were at the NBI office, we went on that website, right? The Bashers website. And there's a list. They got so many troll channels now. It's like an end thing. And I'm like, I don't get it, guys. No way I'd be in the Philippines wasting my time doing that stuff. Bill Ellis says $1,000 per month. You best not smoke, drink, or go out to eat often. I mean, you're not going to live extravagantly, but you're not living extravagantly in America, Bill Ellis. And see, you brought up something that I forgot to bring up, but I wrote down here. If you live a 2-star existence in America, the best thing for you to do when you come to the Philippines is to live a 2-star existence. The big mistake we make, we think, oh, it's cheaper over there, the dollar's worth so much. So when I come to the Philippines, I can bump it up to 4 or 5 star. No, you're making a big mistake. If I live a simple life in America, if I come over here and live a simple life in the Philippines, I'm going to win. That's the only way I'm going to win. When I think that I've got more money now than I do when I was in America, that's a big mistake. You defeat the purpose. You can't, the Philippines doesn't change you that way. And that's what happens. So all of a sudden, now I come to the Philippines, I want to go out every night when I don't go out at all in America. I want to have 2 or 3 women when I don't even have a woman at all in America. Man, you're making a mistake. You come over here, you translate your 2-star lifestyle to your 2-star, 3-star, whatever you are over here, you're not going to miss a beat. Now, if you 5-star over there, then guess what? Your 5-star over here is going to cost a lot less. But most of us that come over here, we're not 5-star, but we make that mistake. We try to jump it up a bit. I did it. But, you don't have to do the regular diet. There's only so much you can do with chicken, beef, pork, and fish. I mean, you don't have to cook it the way they cook it. Tell your girlfriend how you want to cook. You can have, believe it or not, guys, don't fool yourself. We're still on Earth, man. We're not out in the universe somewhere. You can still have mashed potatoes, green beans, and fried chicken over here if that's what you want. But it's going to taste a whole lot better because it's a whole lot fresher. But you can still have the same stuff you had in America over here, man. And that's what thing we get twisted upside down for some reason. I love the chance said this might seem ironic, Calvin, but my Filipino wife likes spending money way more than I do. No, it's not ironic. It's, it's like if you earning, let's just say you got a good job in America, you're earning $1,000 per week. Isn't that considered good over in America? So that'd be $4,000 per month. Now all of a sudden you come to work and they say, oh, we're going to bump you up to $40,000 per month. You're going to go crazy. And this is what happens to the Filipino when they go to America, to the West. And some of them never come down. Some of them do, but most of them don't. So now all of a sudden, man, you work, you're going to buy every damn thing that you're going to buy stupid stuff, man. But that's what happens. Hey, Journey, Trials, and Joy, thanks for that super chat. He said, USA is screwed. People are fleeing to Mexico. They're fleeing to a lot of places because I don't understand how somebody's going to pay $5,250 per month for rent. And it's all over the place. Journey, Trials, and Joy, thanks for the super chat. He said, how long till there becomes westernized? Well, see, I don't think it's ever going to become westernized. We bring our westernized thinking over here, and that's what happens. The Philippines is never going to change, man. Imagine, guys, the history of this place. They outlasted the Spanish. Spanish were here for 350 years. They outlasted the Americans who were here for 50 years. and it's still the Philippines. What we do is we bring our thinking over here. We don't try to learn the culture. We don't have to try to learn how things work over here. We just take for granted that it works the same way as it does at home. No, you don't want to do that. But if you're only here for 2 weeks, big deal. But if you're going to come over here for any considerable period of time, you need to know how things work over here. Hey, Road to the Philippines. Thanks, Danny, for that super chat. He said, my Filipino and I built a house for $25,000 back in 2020. People thought I was crazy for doing so, but I follow my own advice. Don't invest in anything you wouldn't be willing to walk away from. And I guarantee you now, that house that you built for $25,000 is probably worth $35,000 or $40,000 now. I would say $40,000. And yeah, you gotta follow your own advice. And you're right. That's what I say all the time. Don't invest any more than you're willing to work or walk away from. And then some guy said, walk away. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you don't own anything over here. You don't own nothing over here. And that's why I say the mindset that you have to live with over here is going to be different than what you had in America, because you're not in America or England or France or Australia, where we buy everything, it's ours, I'm buying this, it's an investment. I didn't invest when I bought this house. I built this house so Marilyn and these children can have a place to live, period. It wasn't an investment. I'm not trying to flip this and earn money and rent it out and all of that, okay? Now, if I ever decided, just say, for instance, me and Marilyn were going to get married, and then I really got skins in the game. Now I'm married, I got a child, then maybe we might buy something else and rent this out or something like that. But that's way, way down the line. Thanks, you dirty puppy, for that super sticker. But at least, know what you're getting into. And that's what I'm talking about on the video yesterday. We're just showing up, and we're really not even trying to hide our loneliness and desperation. And the Filipina can sense this. She sees right through it. And she uses that to her advantage. Filipinos are used to a real man over here. They don't want a pushover. They don't want a softie. They don't want some easy guy. They want a man. Okay, let me remind you of something that I told you a long time ago, and it's a fact. Filipina wants somebody that can protect her too. You better be able to fight. She wants to know if you can fight. If in case something comes up, you better be able to put up your dues. But we come over here, man, and we really act like wimps over here. They don't like that, man. And yeah, at first they may, because it's new. But after a while, they may like, I forgot what this guy called it. I can't remember what he called it. Where they'll look for a better option, man. And I've seen it. And if you think I'm joking about we're coming over here in such droves now that they're just chewing men up and spitting them out, man. I'm seeing it with my own eyes. They'll put a man on the plane and then sit back and wait for another man to come. And now they're weighing it up. Well, who's better? Who's got more money? Who treats me better? It didn't used to be like that, man. When I came here in 2009, they know a good man. They grab a hold on you. They won't let you go. But now you got women who aren't even all that. But they think they're all that because we make them think they're all that. With all the attention, they're not used to it. Journey Trials and Joy, thanks for that super chat. He says, I'm young. I'll be saving and building things in Lady little by little. By the time I'm old, I would have about a $200,000 house and farmland and church. Well, just remember that it's not yours. It'll never really be yours. Thanks for that super chat, Journey Trials and Joy. He said, but that's a 20-year plan. I mean, that's a lot of money to be investing over here, man. Because when you leave with nothing. You can't take that house with you. I don't care if you're leasing it, the land. You can't take it with you. And, unless you're going to, will it to your kids or something like that, that's a lot of money to be investing over here. John Gomez, thanks for that super chat. He said, property is very important in life, especially in an exodus. Yeah, I was just standing out in front of my house today. It's a good feeling to own a house, okay, to, own a house because you don't have to worry about rent and stuff like that. This is ours. Nobody can take it from us. But at the end of the day, this isn't mine. This is Merlin's house and land and everything on it. But I don't have a problem with that. But in a place like the Philippines, you have to understand you will never own the land and all of that over here. They've got different rules over here. And as long as you know the rules, then you can come over here and you can live better. You'll have more of a peace of mind. Because if you want to go somewhere where you hell bent on owning the land and everything like that, then the Philippines is probably not the place to do it. Although there's ways around that. Get you a good lawyer and talk to them about it. You dirty puppy says Sunshine Shoulders. The first time I became aggressive to protect my Filipina, she freaked out. She made me promise never to do that again. Well, they just don't want a softie, man. They're not used to that. Filipinos, listen. You got to be tough to make it in this society over here. The masses do. You got to have a certain edge about you to make it. So what we do is the minute we meet the Filipino, we start softening her up. We start dulling her knife. So when it doesn't work out, she's dead in the water. She can't make it anymore because we've taken away that edge. So let her keep her edge. That's what makes her the Filipina. That's what makes her the woman that we desire so much. We take all that away, and then we wonder, what happened? Yeah, you took it away. You changed her. And then you want to blame her for it. Journey, trials, and joy. Thanks for that super chat. That's for my kids and future grandkids. Well, see, that's what you do it for. But you don't do it to say, oh, look at me over here. Because if you ever have to move, it's going to be hard to sell that stuff, man. Are you going to have to sell it for a loss? There's Americans who built these big McMansions over here who decided, we're moving back to America. Man, they're still trying to sell them houses. And then the family moves in there as the caretaker. And y'all know the rest of the story after that. AC King says, I've learned to live comfortably while spending well below my means in the U.S. I like to have liquid reserves of money if something unexpected happens. I would want to do the same thing over there. Yeah, just do the same thing you're doing over here as you're doing at home. Will you be able to live? It's more about freedom over here than trying to be a big shot over here. It's more about freedom. Okay, so you say your $1,000 a month income that you're getting will do absolutely nothing for you over in America. But if you come over here and live the same lifestyle, man, you're going to have extra money. You're going to have that freedom, that peace of mind that comes from having more money than bills. But if you come over here and you spend all your money, then you defeat the purpose. What are you doing over here? You're going to struggle over here the same way you did at home. You don't come over here to struggle. You come over here because the cost of living is less. So if I can live the same lifestyle here as I can in America for a lot less, a fraction of what I'm spending, now I'm winning. But the key is the same lifestyle. You don't want to come over here and all of a sudden become a big baller. You don't even know how to live as a baller. You never did it before. You're going to screw up, man. He said you can't take anything with you when you die. And that's facts. Yeah, he said, VFW Dwayne. He said, if I can live a simple life of $1,000 in America, I should be able to live off Philippines for 1,000. This is the point I'm making. But some of us, we can't figure it out because we come over here and we think all of a sudden we got more money. No, you still have $1,000. It just goes up to 56,000 pesos. Now you got to figure out how to make that 56,000 pesos work. But you can't come over here and then all of a sudden I'm going to buy me a Cadillac in the Philippines with a diamond in the back sunroof top when you don't have that in America. You can have a nice place over here with all the comforts of home for about $200 per month. Okay? Your $1,000 is going to go further only if you live the same way you did there. But we won't do it, guys. American Moon, Odyssey.com. There's 20,000 sitting in a bank for years. That's foreign exchange money that keeps the Philippines at a stronger value. Less cash, any country has a weaker currency. Philippines is using the 20,000 in the bank, though. That's a fact. And that's why they're offering the SRRV. It has to be as much of a win-win situation as they can make it. Robert Damien says, how about $1,300, Bill Ellis? Well, see, you can't ask Bill Ellis that. Bill Ellis he can't give you a good answer for that because he and you are two different people. If you're living off of $1,300 in America, Robert, what makes you think you can't live off of it here, guys? Don't complicate stuff. If you're living off of $1,300 in America, man, come on. Yeah, you can live off of $1,300 over here. People just think, oh, I'm 8,000 miles from home now. Well, this is what planning is all about. This is what having an exit plan is all about. You have to save your extra money you're going to have over here. And that's what we don't do. We think because we got extra money, because we don't have it over there, it's there to spend. No, it's not there to spend. It's there to save, to maybe invest or something. But it's not there to just spend it because it's there. But one last time, guys, if you're living off $1,300 in America, what makes you think you can't do it over here, Robert? You're smarter than that. You don't have to ask Bill Ellis that. What Bill Ellis eats doesn't make you go to the bathroom. It doesn't make you poop. His lifestyle may be different than yours. He says, I can't. Yeah, you can't. Because maybe you're not living off of it in America. But if you're living off of $1,300 in America, you ain't gonna have no choice but to live off of it over here. My rent when I left America was $900 per month. I had a 3-bedroom house. It was a nice house. I was renting it from some real nice people who had invested well. They wasn't much older than me. They had a beautiful home around the corner. But it was going up to $940 per month. Now, if I take that same $940 and come over to the Philippines, and I live the same way I'm living now, not extravagantly, now my rent is only $200 per month. So now what am I going to do with the $700? I'm going to pay my utilities, and I'm going to make sure I've got something to eat every night. Now, everything else, I'm going to have to work on that. I'm going to have to work that into that $940, but I can do a whole lot more living the same lifestyle over here as I could in America. And this is what's being lost on people. You don't have more money, your money just goes further. But it's a question I can't answer. How much do I need over here? I can't answer that question. Gary T says, what are the most common questions that you get asked about coming to the Philippines? How budget, women, relationships, healthcare, crime and safety. That's it. That's it right there. And it's the same answers. The answers are never going to change when you talk to me, because I'm giving you my boots on the ground experience. I'm not giving you Robert Dame's boots on the ground experience or everybody else's. So when somebody asks me, hey, Calvin, is it safe in the Philippines? Yeah, it's safe for me. I don't know you. I don't know your lifestyle, who you hanging around with, where you're going, how you spending your time. Or can I live off $1,000 per month? I don't know. I can. I lived very well, guys, off of about $1,400, and I could do it now. My expenses have went down since I built the house, but I can do it. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't chase women. And you got to realize me, Marilyn, Booby, Sahara, Sophia. That's 5 people, and her mother from time to time. Because I'm not doing anything different here as I was at home. I don't stay at the casino because I got extra money. I'm not hanging out at the nightclub and buying jewelry because I got extra money. I'm putting that extra money in the bank. That's why I was able to have the down payment to start building this house. Road to the Philippines says, if you don't want to have that $20,000 sitting in a bank account in the Philippines, you can put that money toward a condominium valued at over $50,000. Yeah, but see, you have to be approved first, Danny, because that's what I was going to do. I was going to put my house up for the SRRV, right? But the guy says, no, you have to be approved first, then you can make the exchange. Okay? So you're still going to have that 20,000. But from what I'm looking at, okay, look, because here's what happened. I don't know how, but Facebook, they can hear me, guys. They can't just see me. Somebody can hear me because this comes up on my Facebook. And how did they even know that I was going to have that guy on there? Well, they probably saw it on my community page. But listen, okay, they're saying here's the major benefits of an SRRV, which I've got them all, guys, with just a tourist visa. But here it is. It says lifetime stay in the Philippines, which I don't have that because I have to leave one day every 3 years. So they got that one. Multiple entry and exit privileges. I've got that with a tourist visa. Okay. Independent visa. It's independent. It's not connected to a Filipino or a company. A tourist visa, a long-term stay visa, is independent, guys. Okay. It says exemption of the major Bureau of Immigration requirements such as annual report, ACR card, exit clearance, travel tax. See, if you exit the country within 1 year from date of arrival. Visa extension. Yes, I don't have that. But all of that doesn't add up to $20,000 either. I can open a personal bank account in the Philippines, either dollar or peso. I've got that. So I don't see it. I don't see the benefits of it, other than I don't have to leave. Okay. And that's just this me, man. I'm just a reasonable thinker. I'm like, well, why do I need that? He says if you're old and you don't want to make that visa run. I mean, 20,000 is a lot of money. 10,000 is a lot of money, especially if you don't have. Well, if you got 10,000, you have to have a pension. But 20,000, I would just say 20,000. That's a lot of money for me. I don't have 20,000 to just let it sit there like that. I don't. But if you have it, then why not? Dan Masters last said, hey, Calvin, I noticed Booby making all that noise. She's really trying to get into the Hall of Fame. Good show tonight. Yeah, Booby's got, they've got that karaoke machine over there. Rom Omega Zone said, your phone is listening, Cal. That's why you have that quick search in FB. I tell you what, it doesn't matter what me and Merlin talk about. Okay, listen to this, guys. Now, I didn't put anything on my Facebook about going to Bacala to the NBI. All right. I talk about it, though. And don't you know, man, on the way, before I even go there, man, all this stuff about Bacala cities popping up on my Facebook. Edward Snowden was right, though. He was way before his time, man. W Secrets to Success blog says, Cal, the mental stress from the NBI meeting, I would bet you slept well like a baby knowing it's all over and done. I did. It kept me up, man. And see, they were able to get a little satisfaction from that. But other than that, now it's over with. And it was all in my head because the lawyer told me, he said, Calvin, you don't have anything to worry about. You've done nothing wrong. But he doesn't understand. You're a Filipino. You can think that way. I'm a foreigner. I've got to sit in front of this investigator and convince him that I'm not exploiting Filipinos and I'm not involved in human trafficking. Even though he knows I'm not, it's just an awkward conversation to have. Well, see, this is what he said. He said no. And Darren Cooper, who has a VA disability or SSD, he said they didn't count it as a pension. So he had to pay the $20,000. He had to put the $20,000 in there. But see, he's got that kind of money. I don't. He's actually got a retirement visa in Thailand and the Philippines. See, if you got that kind of money like these guys have, why not? But for somebody, just a regular guy like me, man, that's a lot of money. I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to fly out of the country every 3 years for one day, by the way, and turn around and start it all over again. Rich William Alona says, come in the Philippines with your $1,000, spend the $500 every month for your needs and save the rest. Learn how locals have fun the cheapest way. But we don't want to do that. That's great advice that I try to give people. But they don't want to do it. They don't understand, because I remember I had a discussion, almost a debate with one of my subscribers, because he was like, well, the Philippine government needs the tourists, the foreign tourist dollar. And I said, no, they don't. I said, you don't realize that the domestic tourism is the backbone of the industry over here. Filipinos, they go out to these resorts and different places like that. All you have to do is go where they go, which is the best places anyway, because we all go to the same places. They go to places that are much cheaper, a lot nicer, that you would never know about. But we go to the Boracay, the Alona Beach, Halawan. We go to the same places over and over and over. Right up the street here from me, I'd say maybe 30 minutes from me, there's a falls. I don't know the name of it. Starts with an M. It's one of the most beautiful things you're ever going to see in the Philippines. It doesn't cost you nothing to stand there by the side of the road. They serve coffee. They've got even a little landing deck. You can sit there, drink your coffee, Coke, water, whatever it is, and look out over these beautiful falls for free. It doesn't cost you anything. But we don't want to do that. We want to do all this extravagant stuff. It's unnecessary over here. And it's going to cost you money. Yeah, see, you're like me, Michael. Dawsonville. I don't see the purpose of that $20,000. It's a lot of money, brother. That's 1 million pesos here. I don't see it. It gives you, the benefits that it says that it gives you, I get every last one of these benefits, except I have to leave one day out every 3 years, and I have to pay for my ACR card. No annual report. I don't have to pay for that. Exit clearance, because which is only 500 pesos, guys. Okay, it's not like it's a lot of money. And then it says travel tax, but see, they put that in the price of your ticket now. The travel tax, they call it terminal fee when you leave the country. Now it's included in your ticket, so you have to worry about that. Visa extension, yeah, I got to pay that, but it's not going to add up. That's about $29 every month. How long will it take for me to add up to that 20,000? I will be dead probably by then. Okay. And then my 20,000 is not doing anything for me. It's gaining interest. So if I ever decide that I'm going to, cancel it, how much am I going to get back? He said, you want cheap alcohol? Yeah, follow the drunks. But I'm going to be honest with you over here. Hey, look, Daniel, man, I'm getting ready to get rid of you, dude. Don't keep bringing up that mixed channel, man. You trying to bait me into something. Matter of fact, show me who you are, and I'm going to believe you. You're gone. Okay. But yeah, a lot of times, though, believe it or not, it's not being cheap. It's just that we bring an attitude over here that we think we're better than Filipinos. So when their food, their calendaras, the places they go, their lifestyle, we think we're too good for it, and we end up paying a price for it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, guys. That's our problem. We think we're better than Filipinos when we come over here when we're not. They sit back, man. They're real quiet. They're real shy, but in their mind, they're saying, yeah, I got him. Because they know how we're going to act. You want to spend, 500 pesos for a meal? Go ahead. When I can take you right down the street and get you the same meal for about 75 pesos. Is that the name of it? The San Salvador Falls? I don't know the name of it. I could be. It's on the way through Don Salvador, but long before you get there. See, you got that drone Pumpkin Joe's Philippine experience. Man, if I were you, I would take that tour, because they got a tour. They'll take you down to that falls, and you're right there at it. And of course, it's a skin tax. It's got it on the sign. It's 300 pesos for locals, 500 pesos for foreigners. And you got to take your own shovel with you, because there's no bathrooms down there. And it's on the sign. I'm not trying to be funny. Yeah, if you got to use the toilet, you dig a hole and you use it. Billy says maybe renting a condo is better, more freedom than buying a condo. But why even rent a condo? Why not just rent a regular apartment, a regular house? Um, I know you guys talk about safety, but hell, if they're going to get you, they're going to get you. I don't care what. You got to leave your condo. You can't just stay in there all day. But that's where it comes to trying to learn about the culture, the ins and outs, where I should go, where I shouldn't go, because I do that at home in America. I do that in Louisville, Kentucky. There's certain places I don't go to, man. And I've been living there my whole life. But I know where not to go. And I avoid those places. When Carter Homes and Southwick were at their peak, I was scared to walk through there, man, even though I knew people over there. It was trouble. Hey, Gary. He says almost at 40,000 subscribers. Congratulations, man. Thank you, man. It's just like, I was telling the investigator, because he said, well, why do you think those guys are coming after you? I said, well, they only come after the bloggers who end up on the radar. He said, I said, I'm on the radar. I said, I absolutely had no clue when I started talking into my phone, because he said he didn't realize this is my YouTube channel right here. I don't have any fancy equipment and stuff like that. Maybe I need it. But I said, you're as surprised as I am that I'm even sitting here. That's the only reason why these guys are coming after me, because I'm on the radar now. Because people out there, see, they think it's an insult. I went, somebody sent me a link to one of them troll channels, 360 or whatever it is. And the guy says, yeah, a lot of them guys, they just do those YouTube channels because they don't have no money. They seem to think that's a put down, because he has no idea how hard it is to create a YouTube channel and then earn enough money to live off of it, man. That's something that, man, I tell you, that's a very, very small percentage of people who are able to do that. You're really giving us a compliment, stupid. It's not a put down. You don't realize how hard it is. It's very, 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 very difficult to do. I was lucky to be able to do it. It's all luck. It's all timing and everything, man. To say that I really had something to do with it, man, I'd be lying. Yeah, man, I got some content that people can relate to, and some of my subjects resonate with people more than other subjects. But now, it's all had a lot to do. I'm very fortunate, man, because if it was that easy, we'd all do it. Ask Pumpkin Joe Philippine Experience, and he's got a good channel, man, with great camera work, drones, and all that stuff. Ask him how hard it is. But to say that, but to think you're putting us down by saying that, that's a compliment, man. It's extremely hard to do. I promise you. Ken and Lynn, Canuck Summers, Pinoy winners. Oh, okay, Canuck Summers. So you Canadian. I said, we rented for years. Now we know we are ready to build. Very comfortable in Northern Cebu. We'll upload the bill. Yeah, and that's a great thing to do. If you're married to a Filipino, man, why not? Why wouldn't you build a house over here and be done with that 30-year death sentence, man? It kept me up many, many a night. I mean, I woke up in a cold sweat, like, man, how am I going to pay for this? 30 years, I'll be 72, and, just all the stuff that goes through you, man. Stephen Day says, I feel these vloggers have shoveled out a lot of shit on promoting the Philippines, and now it's not worth the ride. They're bailing, but not you, Calvin. You give the boots on the ground truth. Yeah, I don't know. We've got some unrealistic expectations that we bring over here. We're running from unrealistic expectations, but then we're bringing them over here. If you live the way you live in America, and you come over here and live, or in France, Italy, wherever you live, and you bring that lifestyle over here to the Philippines, man, you're going to win. But it is a price, guys, that you have to pay. I mean, the infrastructure is not what it is in Thailand or America, but so what? You can work around that. It's sometimes is my water pressure not what I want it to be? Absolutely. But so what, man? It's a small price to pay for what I'm getting in return. You can't get something for nothing, man. And this is what we want. We've been brought up in a society, which I'm gonna tell you, we get a lot of bad indoctrination. Well, we want the easier, softer way, man. But that's why your life is so hard, because you're looking for that easier, softer way. There is no easier, softer way. You're gonna pay a price, and it's worth it, man. For me, for some people, they can't pay the price. They say it's too high. I want steaks. I want to be able to walk down the street and get a T-bone steak. Or they say, I want, a hot and cold knob in my shower. Just stupid stuff like that. And you're just not going to get that a lot of times, man. Over here, if you want hot and cold water, they got a little bitty hot water heater. They install it in your shower, right by your shower. Then you have to have a certain amount of water pressure in order for that to work. You hit 1, 2, or 3, and it comes out of there. There is no hot knob and cold knob and all of that. Okay? But so what? It's a big deal. But I got, everything else that I've got. It's so much. It's just worth whatever price I have to pay. The peace of mind, man, the freedom that I didn't have, man. I just didn't have in that rat race, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. The things that I worried about at home, I don't worry about over here. Playing the game. I haven't begged my woman ever in the 13 years I've been coming to the Philippines for nothing. I've never had to ask a woman over here to do anything twice. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. I don't give a damn about that stuff. People call me Sir Calvin over here. They actually look out for me and my best interest over here. They're really interested in me. It may seem phony at first because you're not used to it. But after a while, you be like, well, hell, they ain't got nothing to gain by telling me that. I'm going to help the people I'm going to help anyway. It's genuine, man. And you're like, I don't care that I don't have hot water, man. I don't have hot water, guys. If I go in there right now, I've already taken my shower. I'm used to it now. I put my head in there first because somebody called it, this is our body's thermometer. And you put your head in there, and it's not like it's freezing cold. It's like cool. And then the later on in the day, like when I get through playing tennis, I come and take my shower, it's lukewarm because that water's been sitting in the lines all day. Let's see. He says they're even going out to Filipino P. Well, wow, I haven't seen that. Now, that would surprise me because, a lot of times, Filipino vloggers, they get the benefit of the doubt, and they really should. It's their country. And I don't mind them coming after me, writing stuff online and, in comments and stuff. But when you become stalkers and you start sending false allegations that takes me out of my comfort zone and puts me right square in front of Philippine authorities, see, that's another subject altogether. Hey, J Smooth 99, thanks for the super chat. He said, thanks for the great advice on your channel. Man, I really appreciate it. And it's really suggestions. If anybody doesn't know, I just give you the nitty gritty, what I call it. What I'm seeing, what I'm living, what I'm experiencing. It's just my unique perspective. Because people come over all the time. They see something different. But they can never tell you I was lying 99.9% of them, Jay Smooth, say, man, you were right on the money about what you were saying. You know, you're going to see something different. Gary Jones says, I'm here 12 years, Calvin. Best decision I've ever made. From a homeless Vietnam veteran to an upper middle class. See, the Saiyan culture is so much like African American culture. Love your channel, brother. See, you're just bearing witness to what I say all the time. Living over here, it reminds me of my neighborhood when I was growing up. It's almost identical. It has so much in common that it's unbelievable. And that's why I believe I'm comfortable over here. Because when I was little, when you wave to somebody, they wave back. I knew everybody on both sides of the street, and they knew us. It's the same way over here. Let's see. He said, well, you can get that over here, road to the Philippines. He said, I got to have my warm showers and aircon cap. I got aircon, but only for Booby. Before this house, before Booby was born, we lived in Malawi, which is a little ways from here. We had no air conditioning for a whole year, and I was okay with it. I got used to it. You sit right up under that fan, man, you know. And remember, from about 5 o'clock until about 6:37 in the morning, it's going to be the perfect weather over here. It's only from about 7:30 until about 4:30 that sun is punching the clock. And I don't care if you blue, black, or bright white, it's going to kick your behind. Hey, thank Michael Dawsonville for that super chat. So I'm an investor, Cal. 20,000. There's a lot of ways to invest that money. You damn right. I would, yeah. I'm not even gonna say what I would do, but that's a lot of money over here, just to be sitting in that bank. I could do a whole lot to help a lot of people with that. Even if it's just the people in our little circle. I mean, I'm just not like that either, man. The Beach of Life says, in America, 1 of 5 homeless men are veterans. If you are a veteran, please keep that in mind when you're on that beer run, weed run, or getting your morning coffee. Yeah. He said he went from being a homeless veteran in America to upper middle class over here. See, that's bearing witness, guys, to what I'm talking about. I'm not just throwing stuff out there thinking it's going to stick. I'm telling you the truth. He hasn't spent, I don't have any more money. I have less money now than I had in America, but I'm living better because it doesn't take as much. But my lifestyle hasn't changed. And when we start changing lifestyles, that's when you start having problems over here. You know, if I drive, a damn VW Volkswagen over there, why would I come over here and get a BMW? John Gomez said, once upon a time, I had 10,000 shares of Tesla. If I would have kept it today, I'd be very rich. Yeah. The investing is for the long term. And most of us, we just can't see that far down the road. That's why there's very few investors really, when you look at the whole picture. Because when you see something like, well, man, that's 100,000 right there, you're going to go get it if you're anything like me. Hillbilly said, Calvin, if they can't pay $6,500 a month for condo studio, then they're in trouble. That's just 125 USD. Yeah, my last rent before I moved to the that a house we lived before we bought this house was 7,000 pesos per month. And that didn't include, we didn't have an air con, remember. My electric was like, the most it was 1,200 pesos. And the water was only $5 a month. That's how I was able to live off of 1,400. I was taking care of 5 or 6 people. Well, before Booby was born. 5 people for 1,400 a month. We were living good, man, because she was going to the market, buying what Filipinos buy: fish, shrimp. I go to the grocery store and buy the chicken. We didn't have a refrigerator full of frozen stuff. Yeah. See, this puts a lot in perspective, because it doesn't, man, I'm going to tell you what, I'm not paying no $5,250 for rent in America. I don't care how much money I'm earning. It's a lot of money. If you're earning $5,250 over here, you're super rich over here, when the Philippine Statistics Authority says that if you earn $3,900 US dollars every month, you're considered rich. Now you're going up another 25% to that 5,250. You're a shot call over here. There's nothing you couldn't do over here in the Philippines for that kind of money. And I'm serious about that. Stephen Day says, anyone messing with the Filipino pig is barking up the wrong tree. She gets legal advice constantly from her friend. She gets her facts down before making a video. I mean, but these guys that do that kind of stuff, they're ruthless anyway. I don't think they really care about what type of, when you're invisible, they don't care what kind of lawyer you got. Yeah, see, this makes a lot of sense. He says that Alan Fitz, I'm changing the family tree forever on the cheap. I've already done that. That's what I said. I've spent about, altogether with everything, the house, the lot, the guest house, and the wall, I'm going to say about $35,000. A little bit less than that, about $33,000. How much money daddy is over here for just the regular working class Filipino? They'll never have that kind of money. Never. No matter what they save, they'll never have it. That's lifetime money, see? And as long as she keeps this and keeps it, maintained, the value is just going to keep going up and up and up. It's worth more than that right now. She probably could get $50,000 for it right now. See? And it's broken a cycle of poverty over here. It's broke. That cycle's broke as long as she maintains this. See? Because it's the same in America. This is your biggest investment, really, your greatest investment. And to be able to have a nice house like this, man, you can't put a price on it, man. Yeah. John Gomez said, now that was a power investment move, Cal. Yeah. Because I got skins in the game. I got a little daughter, 2-year-old daughter running around here. And that's kind of like what kind of Filipinos can't understand. See, when you break up with a Filipino, they cut you off completely, right? But they don't understand how Americans see, we're not like that. I still take care of both my sons, and in their minds, they can't, no matter how they treat me, no matter what they do, these are my children. I'm not going to cut off my nose to spite my face. Because if I mistreat you, then I'm mistreating my child. They can't understand that mindset, because when they are against you here, they don't care. It's over. They don't care, that it's hurting me, that I can't see my son. I have to see him under just intolerable conditions, really. It don't bother them. But I don't think that way. And most Americans, we don't think that way. But yeah, guys, it's 12 o'clock. It's Sunday. You know, we go grocery shopping today, man. I want to thank y'all for your super chats, your super stickers, your thumbs up, man. All your support of Sunshine Shoulders. It's a lot of new people over here now, man. If you come through San Carlos City, the guest house is here for you. That's why I built it. You built it, really, with this channel. I'm supposed to have a guy come today. We're going to go to Dumaguete. I'm going to take him to Siquijor Island for a few days. And then some other guy had asked me about the guest house. All you got to do is send me a message, email, something on my messenger, WhatsApp, and say, hey, I'm coming through there. Her mother will have it ready. It's spotless, man. It's just like a hotel room, guys. It's really, really a nice place. Anybody that stays there will tell you. We just had two of Maryland's friends from Cebu. They came in for Booby's birthday. They stayed there. They forgot to sign the wall, though. But yeah, anybody that wants to avail of that, you can. Just let me know. But yeah, guys, I'm going to get off here. Don't take that video personal, guys. A lot of you guys are taking that video personal I just made. But I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. A lot of lonely American men are showing up here, and things will never be the same if we don't change, if we don't stand up and be men. This is what the Filipino wants. She wants a man. She doesn't want a wimp. She wants you, yeah, you'll be a wimp for the first 2 weeks, but then you continue to be a wimp or pushover, easy, soft. She's going to leave you, man, for somebody else eventually. Probably another Filipino man, because they're used to having a man in their life. They don't understand a wimp. They can't relate to that. They're used to men having an arm fist over here. I'm not talking about mistreating anybody. You make the decision, okay? But when you got somebody, well, where you want to go? Well, whatever you want to do. They don't want that. They're not used to that. Filipinos are tough as nails. They're like stones, man. We treat them like crystal. They won't break, guys, and we can't break them. Okay, so take care. Stay safe. Stay COVID free. I'm gonna watch that movie, man. I always do when somebody tells me something like that. Stay COVID free. I'll see y'all next time. I got to come out of here with my. This guy was nice enough to make this. Anytime I remember to do this, I've got to do it. But yeah, I'm going to have a meet and greet probably next weekend. If you're in the area, come on, it's free. I'm going to invite some nice looking single women and men. You go swimming, eat a lot of good Filipino food. We'll have the karaoke machine there.
Boots on the ground.
DJ.
Boots on the ground. Boots on the ground.
Yeah, girl. Stipak. He said, what movie are you talking about? It's Made in Malacanang. I hope I'm saying that right. That's the name of the presidential palace here in the Philippines. Made in Malacanang. I hope I'm saying that right. Take care, everybody. Okay, Brasilero Shelton. Be careful, man.